9. All right. And then let me act like, for example, when I'm let me just kind of like get that frame in my head. So it goes over the wheels, it does that, and then it does that, and then that goes in like that. That's cool. All right. Okay. Okay. So right now we're just gonna do some sort of like just for some free forming kind of shit, right? Like not we won't get too serious about it, right? Because it's also just the beginning, right? So we don't have to get too try to figure out the whole thing right from the get-go, right? So one of the really like um sort of the big um like it almost frames the whole surface of the whole car is basically the front. It's like it's like the whole car is built off of that, right? So
Yeah.
so that I always like to start with an element like that, right? So like then see right now it's still like I'm still just using straight lines. So I'll like go like up here like that, and then from the front I'll go here and then move it here. Oh, whoops. Move it to where this is at. All right. And then it looks like you wanted it maybe to have a little bit of a tip towards the oh, and then let's put the symmetry, right? And then okay. So then after this, I'll push it a little bit further in. And then now I'm gonna start adding a little more details, right? So here's the curves, and then that's when I start going to like three. Well, for right now, we'll go into two, right? And then I'll push this in, right? And then maybe I'll push this out a little bit, right? And then this bottom will probably have a little bit of a little bit of in the bottom like that, right? And then I'm making sure that if I move these two, I'm always moving them together, right? Because that way they're always gonna be mirrored on both sides, right? Because if I kind of only move one, it's gonna break that like cross thing, right? All right.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna use that. So now let's start building. Oh, let's get the wheels in there. So we'll go curve, primitive circle, like that, and then we'll scale it like that. Move it back, and we'll leave that like that. Okay, and then oh, and then we gotta move it out. All right, like that. And then the front, let's see. We'll scale this down a little bit just to match a little bit. But anyways, it's the front. It's like a lot. Most of the time, it's always gonna be a bit of both, right? Like it's like every view is gonna be a little different. Like we can't ever expect people to be perfect in that sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's no real. It's fine. Okay. So then I'll get like maybe this corner and then push it out here, right? And then this corner. No, that is the top corner. And then this corner, right? Oh, it's it's well, it would have to be pushed all the way out here for the wheel, right? Because the wheel isn't open. No. Uh-huh. Okay. Right. And then it's sort of like as I'm building this. And then from the side we'll go up. All right, like that. And then I'll add more volume, like that. Right, probably a lot more because that would be really flat. I need to breathe a little bit. All right, and then from the top, I'll add a little volume. Right. N- well, now right now I'm in the top view. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Maybe yeah, yeah, you I wonder how we can fix that delay.
I think if you just emphasis slightly to where you last got to,
Yeah,
you can.
yeah, yeah. Oh, you know what? I could change it to low latency mode. Let me do that. That's here, and then I could go here, and then oh no, no, I have to. No, I think that only have it only lets me in the beginning. All right, so I wonder how far behind it is. It can't be that far though, right? Oh, I can see here. Okay, there you go. All right. Well, anyways, in the end, you'll be able to re-listen to it, you know, and see exactly what I was talking about. Yeah. So I'll just kind of keep going with the form development basically. So this kind of goes like a little, yeah. Oh, it's good. I wonder if my live is even slower than yours or something, but and then this thing already, I could tell I probably made it too wide for everything. So I'll grab here, and then I'll just grab all these CVs, and then go set pivot here, and then I'll do a non-proportional scale, just to kind of get these like angles a little more to what I feel like what you were going for, and then yeah, like that, and then mm-mm, then the other part is too. I'm gonna control copy and paste the wheels to to give me basically a wheel flare, right? Or where the wheel's gonna be at and all that. So let me do that. I'll scale that up like that. Maybe something like that. Just to kind of have a better idea. And then this stuff, I'll kind of do something like this. And then since I'm already in the side view, I'm also gonna get this one like that. Add more degrees. And then we're gonna go like that. That. Right? And then from the top, I'm gonna, that's cool. Okay. So from the top, I'm gonna, we're gonna do something like this. Move that out. And then push that all the way back here. And then we'll add a little more curvature like that. Maybe something like this. Move it forward, maybe like that. Probably something a little further in. Or something like that. Like that. Right? Oh, and then the front is definitely much rounder. And probably further ahead too. And I'm just thinking about the balance here. Okay, yeah. I'll go maybe something like this. Like that. That. And then the lean. Oh yeah, that's how we'll. Cause because basically, um, since there's always like there'll always be a little bit of a difference, right? Like in terms of what's right or what was the intention and what's there. And then but what I start doing is I'll start setting up these really simple curve networks, right? And then this gives me a chance to kind of start sort of developing the whole form together, right? So like for example, this thing, even though from the top, well, it's because from the top it goes even further behind that. But that's fine. Okay. Now, because then this would have to be more like this, and then this would be back here, and that would be really sharp like that. And then see here, if I like if I see it from here, it kind of because I'm already like in my head, it's already sort of it's starting to develop the 3D form, and then so like to kind of get the orientation in terms of uh what what to do. Hold on, I'm just thinking out loud. Oh yeah. So because I snapped this to this, and what I'm gonna do actually is also well, I usually like to keep oh no, I usually like to keep a center line. That's 'cause I was just thinking I could probably just separate these over here like this, and then I might as well already do that because it's such a like cockpit sort of like shape. So we're gonna go like that, and then we're gonna go. Oh, and it looks like you already have it here too, and you're kind of like that, right? And then I'm gonna grab a curve and get here and connect it here. Let's see if you can see it. Oh yeah, there I'm doing the top, and then I'm gonna go to the front and then connect a curve so I could see the relationship right of this corner versus like here, and then see how like good it is. Like first off, it really depends on if it's gonna dig deeper than this than the wheels, right? Like if like because now we have these sort of like 3 points of reference, like the top of the wheel, the this like line that we just developed, and then this thing, right? So I could kind of like maybe grab this and go to the side just straight up off the y-axis, and then go here and then connect it here, and then go here and connect it here, right? And then that kind of is telling me a little bit more about the relationship, right? How much how much how much if the front of this vehicle lands here, then here and here it's not gonna have much of it's not gonna have a lot of room to play with, right? Like an all change in the z-axis. So I'll like kind of like that's kind of telling me like, oh, maybe we should grab all these and just move them a little bit further down, so that there's more play here, and then maybe grab this one and move it a little more, like maybe something like this, right? Maybe something like that, right? And then there's let me see the sketch. Where is that? It's here. And then there's that part, and then this part goes over here, and then like that, and then this thing. Oh, well, first let's put a little more volume right there, like this, or something like that, and we're gonna change this orientation to the other side just to make it a little more like aggressive. And then uh the it's because there's basically like two lines. It's because here you also have it a little different, but that's good though. It's tight. Then you have that part. Give me 1 second. That's really cool too. Uh, well, okay, so here you definitely have like it's more of a two forms that intersect with each other. Okay, yeah, and that goes all the way front. Okay, yeah. So this is more. I'm just like reading your sketches a little more. Okay. So this is now that I was seeing your sketches, and then I have this like network already sort of set up, right? It looks more like it's kind of more like this, like how you have in your front sketch, and then it's definitely um more down like this, like that, and then I think this is probably wider too. So I'll add a little more CVs, and maybe do something like this. Just widen it up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this,
like body area.
yeah, this thing right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just guessing where you're pointing because I think I've just reached the section where you were putting down the main sort of cabin greenhouse area.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Wonder if that's wonder
How what?
how behind the.
Oh, not too much. But you know what? I think what would be better is if you mute the Zoom and then you listen on the stream, and then
Oh, okay.
and then when you have a question, you could just we could talk about what you do. That way, it'll be less confusing for when you're for what I'm saying. No, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Alright.
Mm-mm-mm. All right, and then let me show you. Uh, okay, and then another thing too is just the overall like width of this, right? So I'll start adding little stuff like this too, just to get a better idea of where these curves are in space, you know, by using other curves, you know, like this, kind of like this, like that, right? And then now that I kind of use this just to kind of understand this relationship, so now I don't need these anymore, and I could push these back like that, right? And then I could kind of put this here, pick this, go like that, and then and then here I'll probably move this uh farther forward just to kind of give it a little bit more lead in the hood. And then and then we're gonna let's get this. Oh, let me put the I'm gonna put the wheels. Oh, I forgot to move these out. Or actually, instead of that, I'll just copy these. But first, I'll cut them. I want to cut them just to kind of make my life a little easier. Like I'm gonna grab this and send it here, and then I'm gonna use detach to basically cut it here, 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 and here, like that. And then, and then um, I'm gonna copy all that. Well, first I'll add a little bit of a. I'm gonna set the pivot here, and then oh, these got cut. So I'm gonna group them. I'm gonna set the pivot there again, and then I'm gonna rotate them this way just a little bit, and then I'll add the edges like that, and then I wonder if I could just join these curves. Let me see. If I go object edit, attach, like that, connect, go. There you go. Okay, we do that again. No, that's the wrong one. Object edit, attach. This, oh there, I already attached it. Okay. And then I'm gonna grab all that again, and then this one too. And then I'll just control copy and paste that back here again, like that. Get rid of this one. Let me make sure I didn't end the stream in accident. No, where is it? Oh, we good. Okay. So let me delete that one. Do that, like that, and then I put a little too much here. And I also think just in general this is too big both ways. when I look at the whole car, especially when I see your sketches. Because I that's another part too. Like I try to see like the best or like the sketch that has the most like feeling or like I don't know like the character that you want to sort of grab, and then you start seeing the relationships, right? Like like how far how far in these are relative to this, and then so to me something like that would be one too wide for how I did this curve like that. And so I'll get all those CVs, set the pivot here, and then maybe do like a non-proportional scale like that. And then this part, I'll I'll add more degrees and move these out a little bit like that. And then this one, I'm gonna go back to 1, and then I'm gonna go back to 3, like that, like that, like that. And then from the side, I'll put that crown again, like that. And then so now we could kind of connect this to this, and maybe we'll connect this to this just to start seeing the relationship, right? And then one of the things that I really it's like this, like how far out it goes and then in. Let me I'm trying to kind of like focus on that because in that case it would be more of a and that I guess that wouldn't it would be a little it wouldn't have such a hard edge here, but I definitely want to get this character in there, like in terms that it goes like really high up. So I think we got it like that. But since I think you have another like hold on, another like 2 lines, right? And then one is like kind of letting the other one because I'm like kind of looking at this because it seems like it's more something like this, something like this. Let me see where we get something like this here. We'll push this out like that, like this, and then we'll detach it here, and maybe and then and then we'll connect that to maybe somewhere here. No, or maybe yeah. And then we could kind of use that as a guide to help us find that flat. Maybe we'll push this out a little more, or not flat, but like that, like where the it's because it's almost like I'm trying to find this muscle right here, like this, like these three, right? And then it from there goes into this, right? It's almost like we're already developing the shape, right? Something like that. If I kind of do this, right? And then if I isolate these like this, right? We could already start seeing some stuff, and like maybe we'll add more degrees, and then well, not I won't add 3 right now. I'll add 2 just for where we're at, and then we'll maybe add a little weight here, little weight here, a little weight here, and then this is obvious. Like we definitely would rather it. First, let me get the symmetry out. I'm gonna detach it in the middle like that, and then delete that, and then I'll probably move this out a little bit and something like that, or the even the other way, right? Something like this, and then maybe move this out a little more, right? Right, and then so that kind of like you see how I'm kind of like adding profiles everywhere just to kind of like help me find the form and space. And then and then even let me see here though, and then let me see the sketches because it's almost like 2 forms. This is really dope though. Um, that, then like that, then it goes like that, and then maybe even closer. But where the heck? Oh, okay. And there's that. And then this thing kind of has to go. Oh, that was another thing too. It's little. It's we should move these a little bit back, or instead of moving all these back, I'll move these a little forward, just to give it less flat nose. Give it a little more room to breathe, right? Uh, like that, right? And then this didn't. Well, then I'll for the. I feel like this maybe should go here, like that. And then these, we're definitely gonna go higher with them. I'm gonna get these back down to like 2, and then I'm gonna grab all these and move these out like this, right? To give that, like, to try to get it a little closer to. Oh, and then this they'll be okay. And then now I'm even kind of seeing how, like the relationship between this front and all the way over here, right? If I look at it like that, it's like, oh, we're getting close there, right? One thing that I could easily do is just kind of like do this, right? To so that this line in the hood like communicates with everything, right? And then that way it's a lot more. We could probably even make it into one now. There you go. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, a lot of times I'll like, even if I'll try to even simplify the design, and then just in this process of when we're finding the form, right? And then once we get closer, that's when we start adding the more tricky stuff, you know? So like this thing, I'll take it all the way over there, and this thing I'll move it over here, and then now we have this like shape or this line that's traveling. Let me get the canvas out of there. That's traveling all the way through like that. And then let's, because then now I could kind of maybe add the indent here later. But for right now, we'll get rid of, well, not get rid of, but eliminate this, right? Delete it. And then with this one, this starts looking a lot more real. Oh, and then I'm gonna grab this and make sure that it's back to intersecting it, right? It's like this. And then from the front, I'll make sure that it's a little more, like, maybe flatter. Move this out a bit. Maybe, no, this is not. Whenever you wanna, if you go here to, like, I want to do a symmetrical line, and it's here. You go like that, and that makes sure it's good. All right, so now we're getting a little closer, and then this will give us more space here, or even more of a drastic sort of like character, or like, a change in the z-axis, by going from here to here. And then so this one is good, and then we'll keep going, and then this is the old one, and this one will line it up to this, like that. And then I'm gonna add that little front splitter too. I think it's important. And then I'm gonna move. Oh no, that's more me. Hold on. And then Now let's no, this one we went way too. This one needs to be more in line with the rest. All right, something like that. And then let's see the body side. All right, because the rear it has like this line that's almost hitting. Like, do you have another sketch of it? Right, the rear has like this line, and this line is going all the way. Oh, basically tries to hit here. Okay, so this line, which we could probably even go from all the way back here. Basically, it goes here, and then from the outside, oh, since it bends in, we're gonna, instead of going all the way back here, we'll make the corner here, and then we'll move this out like this, and then from here it's gonna go in here, and then from here it's gonna go here, and then this thing we might as well just travel it all the way back here, but not that far in though, like that, like that, like that, and then but that's just that line because there's also needs to be oh wait, let me yeah, that's the part that I forgot. This thing needs to go back up here like that. Let's kind of get it a little closer to over the tire, right? And then let me get rid of these. This will we'll hide for right now. We'll delete for right now. Let me get the canvas out. Oh, let me get a new layer, and I'll put the tires in that layer. Tires like that. And then we'll just put this stuff here, that, and then we'll make it like black or something. And this will change it to like a baby blue or something. Okay. So then now we gotta see the oh, so now we have this big line, right? And then let me it needs to have some sort of relationship with this stuff, right? So let's move this out like that, and then we'll put more degrees here, move this out like that. From the side, we'll push it up, and then now I'll add more degrees and push it closer here, maybe like 4. Not that we'll go, yeah, and then push that up a little bit, push this up a little bit, and here we'll push this up a little bit like that. Then from the top, we're gonna go like that, like that, like that. Move this out like that, right? And then now we could start seeing the relationship between this and this, right? And then see this is where the value of this comes in, right? Then you're like, oh, okay, hold on, like, and then we could start basically connecting this to this. Let me do that like that, and then we're like, okay, well, no, that doesn't make sense, right? It's like, okay, it doesn't. It needs to have more like something like this, and then that way it has a little more room to breathe. And then then we gotta fix the lines a little bit, but that's fine. Like that, that. Oh, what? And then another big relationship is the connection between this and this. And I think let's see your, oh, I think there seems to be maybe a disconnect or maybe not, because here but we'll focus more just on like these sketches, right? Because this goes into here like that, and this at this point this is just a little, just like a surface, and then this gets in. That's cool. Okay. So then this thing needs to connect to this thing, and then this thing's gonna go back regardless, right? So because this needs to go somewhere, and we go like that, and then we're gonna, oh, let's see the canvas, right? And then we're gonna go like that and move that like basically here, right? And then I'll probably just let me put that in the right layer. Let me save it so we don't lose this. And then I'm gonna connect this to the bottom. And then the other part too is I wanna start seeing the relationship between this corner and this character line. So I'm gonna go like that, right? And then that teaches me a lot of things about just the relationship of where that line is going, right? So before we're even, and I think one of the like sort of like lessons here that I'm trying to kind of like communicate is that before I'm even doing any surfacing, I'm already, when I'm doing these curve networks, I'm using these to understand the relationship between the different lines that I'm already developing, you know, so that by even before I start to surface this, we already have we're already like steps ahead, right? So this one's also really like this one to here, which is almost even a character line for you, is like here, right? Oh, what here, right? So now we start looking at that, and it's like, okay, well, that we got a little close, right? Another important design element is this top thing, right? That's very important. So let's add something there, and then from here I can kind of tell I wanna. Oh, hold on. And another part too is just basically like this thing, this corner going into here, right? Because in the end, the relationship between this one and this one are going to be fairly similar. You know, like you're gonna sculpt the surface that's very close to this, right? And another thing too, now that I look at it like that, is just this because you almost have it here in this like cutout, right? Like it's kind of like it goes from here to here and then up to here, right? And then so now I could see that if I had that character line there, it wouldn't really give us a lot of it wouldn't give us a lot of show, but I mean that might be what the design wants. But at least this way I'm kind of like already figuring, like, you know, seeing that relationship, right? To me, regardless, it's still this distance between, and this is more about like I don't want to say intuitive, but it's more about just being in an industry, right? The distance, it obviously depends on what type of supercar this is, because proportionally speaking, when we're talking about something this wide and having this cockpit, that would be almost like a single seater, like that one Lamborghini that came out, right? But I think in your sketches, like when I see these, you know, this, especially in this sketch and in this one, it looks a lot more like it's a bigger volume, you know, like the people inside have a lot of room to you know, hang out with, right? So so what I would do is basically grab, I'm just kind of thinking, because it wouldn't be like these, this one I don't need. This definitely wider for sure. We'll widen this up like that. And then now I'm just looking at this relationship, you know, because it's not, it's to go from here all the way to here, you're gonna have a huge ass shelf, and then you don't have a lot of room in the middle. So you're gonna want to have a little more than that. So I would basically grab that, not this one, and this one, because this is one of our main lines. Move this out just a little bit. Like that. Actually, you know what I was thinking? Maybe I could just grab these and then grab all these and then put the pivot in the middle and then non-proportionally scale it out. That kind of. And then also put a little more weight here, here. Move this out a little more here, right? Oh no, because the volume is a little bit. because the driver is supposed. It's a lot of times you want like where the driver's at to be more where the center of the mass, or like where it's almost like where you want the apex of the top to kind of like flow through their shoulders, right? Because it's kind of like from the front they want to be. It's almost like from your shoulder it starts diving in and it starts diving in the other way, right? And then let me see if I added too much, probably. Oh yeah, okay. Because this is yeah, because this is the top of the this is the top of the this one. This is the top of the surface, not the bottom. The bottom is the one that was supposed to expand out a little more. So like that. All right. There. Now that starts looking a little more like an actual like two-seater proportionally speaking. And then this, yeah, we'll push out just a little bit. Oh, actually, oh, that's good. The only thing is I want to make it flat. Like a lot of times I'll show you like here, right? Especially with the main lines, there might be a little bit of a deviation, right? A quick way to sort of like eliminate that is if, let me make this smaller, put it here, is with the planarized curve tool. And that's, where's this one? And then I click here and then that fixes it. And all I really had to do is basically this thing and this thing were twisting, and I wanted to get the twist completely out of there. So I figured that out. And another way to do that, yeah, right. This is the one without the twist. Oh no, wait, that was the clean one. Wait, which is the clean one? I need to get here. There you go. This is the one with the twist. Yeah, so that one's straight. All right, so now let me grab that, and then also I need this too, and probably this too, like that. So now I could use this and get that like that, like that. Move this here, and then move this here like that, and then probably move this even further out just a little bit, and then there you go, and then we have that, right? Then we have that, right? And it almost seems like you want it to end before that, but we'll take care of that later. And then okay, so then now, and actually even here, like even though it's a little early in this like model, there's already like we could already basically start putting forms down to help us, right? So let me delete that. So and the easiest one is this one. So I'm gonna grab what I actually like. I get I there would be like better. I don't want to say better, but basically what I'm gonna do is grab. I'm just gonna grab this one, and then it's already mirrored. So I'm just gonna press one and surface that, and then I'm gonna turn the crown on. Make sure it's it's the right way. Let's shade it. And then before that, I'll press M to go into my visualization, and then go to my environment. I'm gonna choose Hall, and then in my I'll probably just grab one from up here, paint metallic. Let's start with this one, and then we'll color it here, and then actually I'll make it a little darker. Oh yeah, I forgot it's a map. No, but I feel like I do it here. There you go. And then since since I also kind of want to see how this is behaving, I can basically do this, and there's obviously like a couple right and wrong ways to do it. I mean, there's at this point we're just kind of free forming stuff, right? So well, first off, I wanna I wanna make sure that the curvature of this thing is kind of like what I'm thinking of, right? So like I'm gonna check that out, and to me that this seems pretty chill for yeah, this seems all right. And then I'll add a little more data, right? I'll add like 3. And then, oh, whoops, like that. And then from the top, I'll grab these, and then that's when I'll add a little bit of the crown here, and then a little bit of the crown here, just to have it so that, you know, they're not flat. And then even we could probably even add a little more, or maybe not. Okay. So then we can actually you like, for example, for even this thing, what I would do, like especially in this early beginnings, is I would put a curve from here to here like that. I'll make sure that it's kind of like straight like this, right? And well, let me make sure that this is kind of good. I'll like rebalance this a little bit before I do the next step. And a good way that's kind of like really, because it's kind of hard to tell when it's such a flat or like such a even curve. This already to me has too much data because it's a pretty simple curve. So maybe we wanna maybe do something like that. Oh, whoops, like that. Okay. Then what I'll do is I'll grab this here, put this here like this. So I'm basically connecting those two, you know, and then now I'll go from the side. I'll add a little more volume. And traditionally speaking, you know, this thing to make it like roll down and shit, you know, it would be a straight like barrel. But this is very much more concept stuff, you know, so it's more like form development. So I'll use my rail tool and rail this across this like that, right? Then we have that. And then from the side, I'll probably extend it out just a little bit, get rid of the old stuff. And I probably don't even need that much I don't need this span here, so I'm just gonna eliminate it. Make sure that the CVs are good, and then I'll actually project this thing to this thing, and then trim that out. And then if another thing I will do too. Let's see it like that wide, right? So then another thing I will do too, even before I did that, is because since we're still developing a curve network, I still want to try to get the cleanest stuff I can get. So I'm gonna like I'll before I do that, instead of I'll press Shift P to and then select that surface, and that toggles my other project, which is gonna project the curve, not make a trim curve on surface, right? So when I do that, see now it developed a new curve, and that curve lives on this surface, right? It's this curve, right? No, let me get the curve. It's this curve, right? And then let me go like that. Because it doesn't have basically the program is like trying to land it here, but it's not succeeding very well because this doesn't have enough data. So I'm gonna query edit the rebuild curve, and then in I don't have to match original. Let's do curve fit, and then that is, and I'm gonna add like maybe four degrees probably, or maybe even 5 because it's a little bit of a, it's kind of like doing a lot. Oh no. Oh, okay. All right. So now we have now. So basically, what I did is I used the simple curve to build this this 5-degree curve. Now I could delete the old one. So now I have this curve that is basically very close. It's very close to this actual, like the actual intersection, right? And I'll just do a normal, like do what we did last time, just to kind of get the other part out of the way. But now I have this curve that I can use like when I'm developing the rest of the vehicle, you know, and then that way I could you know, like if I have to build something off of it, you know, if I was like, oh, like for example, I don't know, like let's say for some reason I wanted to, you were kind of wanted to see how the relationship of this and this, if we kind of do this, we put a curve here and here, and then we rail it, like it's gonna make a fairly clean surface, you know, and then that way we could kind of you know, we still have a clean, like instead of already using trimmed surfaces to kind of develop our shit, we're using more like simple 5-degree curves everywhere. You know, back in the day before I even did the project curve, I would just kind of do that by hand, and then let's and then so even like this stuff, right? I mean, we could kind of do the same thing here. We could press Shift P and like that, right? And then oh, but that's only doing one half. I thought it was the other half that we were developing, not that half. Let's see. Yeah, right. Oh, okay. Then I must have selected the wrong one then. Let me delete that. Oh, let me take the symmetry out. Okay. So even with that one, the middle one, I'm gonna actually get it from the actual surface. So I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna delete this. Oh, whoops. I'm gonna delete this, and then I'm gonna press R, and then or actually I guess N. I'll do N, I guess. Mm, Now I'll press R to get one in the middle. Press Alt Shift, and then now I have that curve, and and then um and then I could use this to project align this stuff here to this like this, and then now I also have that curve, right? And that one's also living in this world, you know. So now when I bring back, so now I can start basically, now I continue to develop this, you know, and I continue to basically use the curve network to help me understand how they're let me put symmetry, how everything's like relate, let me take the canvas out, how everything's like relating to itself already, right? And then even here, like, you know, I probably went a little too much out, but you know, that's the whole point. I get it, and then I'm thinking, then we can look at it from the front too, so we can see, because we always want to make sure that the rear is a little bit higher than the side than the front, and then yeah, and then this is definitely way too inboard. So we'll push this out like that, and then that gives everyone more room to breathe. This thing doesn't need to be that heavy. I'll go down to like 3 again, like that, and then move this out, right? Make sure that that has space, that has space. Let's get this back into this, like this, right? Back. See, and then now, a lot of times too, when I'm doing this sort of stuff, even it has not much to do with like the design, right? Just to kind of start cementing things in my head. You could do a lot of things here. I'm just kind of thinking here. Because, well, I'll finish the thought too. So basically, a lot of times what I do is to see the intersection of this, I'll just kind of, I'll get this, I'll put a little more volume here just to like, so it won't be completely flat, and then I'll just rail that to see what's like, you know, what's going on, and then you know, it would be like, that's why I kind of like having this curve, and then this curve I'll maybe go something, put something here down like that, maybe, and then do something like this, you know, and then I'll rail that. So then I'm starting to kind of see, you know, what would the natural intersection be if I had a, if the surfaces were kind of like, basically what's gonna happen when this intersects with this, is it gonna is it gonna have a little fillet here? Is it gonna, like, yeah, or are we gonna twist it and go all the way over here like this, right? And then this I'll go default and default, and then I would probably not have crown right now when it's kind of doing this twisting stuff, right? And I'd be like, oh, okay, what's the, like, okay, so now when I approach it like that, let me and then I'll change it to something that's a little more like, well, no, well, now that it's kind of like, I'll add a little more lightness just to kind of see it better. And then and then that's kind of giving me an idea of how these lines are going to interact with each other, and how they're going to, and how they're starting to like develop their form and stuff like that. And uh, yeah, and then I'll just delete it. And then it's kind of like you want to see really this really more depends on the design. Wait, hold, let's do that part too. So then that because then this needs to go somewhere, right? And then I guess it would be sort of like going into here like this. Oh no, kind of like going to here like this, and then maybe intersecting with that like this, and then let's add a little more volume. And remember, this is all like early development stuff, right? I'm definitely, there's a couple things going on here. One, I'm letting the I'm letting the 3D form help me a little bit, I'm not being too I'm not using your design sketch as a, or your views as like, as like a rule, because I'm still it's almost like I'm getting the main forms, and then I'm just starting to let my head wrap around what I'm trying to do, you know? Like I'm trying to let it and then this thing I'll probably rail it like that instead of probably push it back like that, and then like that, like that, right? And then like, for example, let me just kind of one of the ways that see, when I do a rail, right? It's a very clean like surface, right? And we almost got it to intersect base if I press I to intersect this like this, we got really close, and then that was based off this curve and this surface, right? So if I grab this surface, and then if I for right now I'll eliminate the crown, right? And then so see, now I'm like, okay, now I'm getting closer, and then I'll pick this hole, and then I'll move this down. You see? You see how here it like I'm using it's crazy, but I'm using this design line, and I'm using this other like basically construction line to help me come up with the surface volume here that most naturally intersects with that. So if I, once I go, because before we were here, right? And if I kind of approach it this way, then I'm eliminating a lot of the twisties that are happening later in life, right? Because I'm kind of like solving all this like almost like cohesively. And then I'll add a little more. Then I'll go back and add a little more volume, right? And then so now that's giving me, even like, now that's getting me really close to a volume that goes through here and intersects here, and then that goes all the way over there, and then that really gives you a sense, that's kind of like, that's where. And then see, now we could stretch this out a little more like this, stretch this out a little more like that. Let me get rid of these old curves, right? I could even I could even I could even like just to kind of see what's going on. I'm actually like I could go here and here and then use this as a rail like that, right? And then here I can go here and here and look, and that one's even getting really close to this too. So now I know that if I move this out, if I just move this out a little bit, now I'm getting a really nice intersection here. If that was kind of like what I wanted, you know? And then that way, so this is how I kind of like use the form or use the curve network to start developing these forms, and also and then the really important thing that's actually happening is my head is starting to develop um it's almost like it's starting to solve the puzzle, or it's helping me understand the relationships of the different design elements I'm starting to build, you know. So it's really and so as all of this is happening, it that start that gets in the back burners, and then and and what would happen, what I keep doing is I'll keep kind of like, because right now we've been focusing on like this area. I'll keep using that mindset for the whole thing, and then that's when, and that, let me just even, I just kind of want to do this real quick, and then that's then the result is something that's extremely like I you almost want to call it like stable, you know, like it's um something that's very like it's very like in line with itself. You know, it's very, look, and look at this, and then here I could kind of put this and then bring this back like that, bring it back even further like this, right? So now I have, you know, now I have these two, now I have all these volumes here that are all like in relation with themselves, you know, and they're all sort of like, you know, it's almost like they kind of like build themselves together, and I kept everything very loose and very like, you know, with the minimum amount of like you know, surfaces and degrees and all that. And then this is helping me develop the form, you know, and I'm using my rails and the relationship between the rails and all that to kind of help me understand, like, so now after this, I like, you know, like let's say like the design is different or we want more here, like now, but now I know that I'm like, okay, but I can definitely, if I keep this in this sort of relationship, I can make it so that when it gets down to here, it's a very like it's a very, let me even, what I would do really is I would basically kind of do this. I mean, I would, since we already have that here, I would use my trim convert to get that, or maybe not. Well, yeah, but then I would rebuild. So let me delete that like that, and then I'll just kind of like quickly rebuild this like this, just to kind of have it a little more cleaner. And then I'll grab this, and then I'll line up, I'll use my projector line to go here and here, right? So, even though, you know, like, because we're not, it's never gonna be completely perfect, but we're basically giving everyone like the best chance kind of thing. You know, like we're sort of telling it not to, and then here, let me kind of do this because I want it to hit this corner. I'll stretch this out like this and like this, like that, right? And then this thing will move this out a little bit more. Oh, well, first let's intersect it like that, and then we'll trim convert, and then with this one I'll just no, I'll move this farther out back here, and then I'll rebuild it real quick, and then let me get rid of that like that, right? So now I have this surface that's here like this, and then I'll probably stretch it out and move this closer to here, like that. And then just make sure that this corner is touching that, like that. And then, right? So now I have all that, and and even just to kind of keep that in line with this, I'll probably put a curve here and put it here, and then like surface this like this, surface this like this, um, that just kind of gives us something like close to that. And then now when we add the rest of it, like, or like, like from here, if we start like adding actual, like, let me just show you real quick, just adding actual you know um transitions. This transition I'll do more by hand. So no, because you want it kind of lined up to that, and like that, right? And here I'm just kind of like shooting off the cuff here, like that, like that. I'll get rid of these. I don't need them anymore, and then I'll freeform blend that, like that, right? Like that's when all of these really start, they get really clean, like we don't need that many either. So I'm gonna duplicate this, duplicate that, delete that, and then use my square tool to just make it a little simpler. Curvature, curvature, like that, delete that, like that. And then with these two, I'll just insert, oh, whoops. I'll press R to insert here, and then just trim that out. And I'll probably just use a blend curve here, and then like that. See, so this is like this is like sort of the basis of like solid modeling, in the sense of and I think that also translates to very good design modeling, because like I'm letting the I'm letting the curve network and the form like tell me what it wants to do, and then that's helping me build those relationships up in my head. And then with that information, I start developing this like form that's like based on your design. And then but since I let the since I let the forms do more of the guiding a little bit, especially in this early development stage, now we have a very like solid foundation. And then like, for example, something like this, once you start adding all the transitions and all that, like once we actually complete the whole model, that's really what kind of like is the very big difference between when you see a model and you're like something like my Electra, and like you see it, it's like, damn, that's like a very solid, like it looks like it's like a professional made it. It looks like like a company like Porsche or like Volkswagen. But because we understand those relationships, and we try to form it so that everyone's interacting, how, like, it's your design, but we're using the natural, like, almost math of the surfaces and those curves for them to tell us, oh, how wide should I go here, how big should I go here, how can I twist this angle. And then basically that's how I start like developing these sorts of forms. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I'm gonna save this. And I think for today we'll just leave it like that. And then we'll keep going. I'll send you this file too. But yeah, let's hop back on the Zoom so I can hear you. Mm, 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 mm. Hello, hello.
back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. What'd you think of that?
Yes, that was amazing.
Was that good?
I loved it.
Yeah.
You, by the way,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. This is pretty cool, huh?
I just you should
Yeah. Let me I'm gonna end that stream and then I'll send you a link to that.
thank you.
Yeah, let me end it
Yeah, that was
here.
awesome.
Yeah, but please feel free to